Alrighty. Hello, everybody. How are you all doing? Please let me know if you can hear me clearly. If you can hear me, type a 1 in the chat. If you can hear me clearly, type a 5 if you can hear me, but not so clearly. And we will go on and get this party started. I am so excited, you guys. So our show is finally coming back. I miss this show. This is like, it's been a long time since I have been excited about a scripted television show. And this show was everything for me. I love a period drama. I love the costuming in really good period pieces. I love all of the things about this show. And then, and we rarely get to see a scripted show, a period piece that has a prominent Black character like Peggy, and especially like if they're not a servant. So I am like so excited that this is coming back, and all of the actors are phenomenal. I admit that I don't follow like the stage shows like on Broadway that go to the Tonys and everything, but I know there are a lot of Tony Award winning actors in this show, and they are excellent. Like, this cast is everything. So let me know in the comments. I'm gonna say some hellos. You'll let me know some of your favorite scenes from season 1. I'm just gonna go through and say some hellos while I go through here. And for those of y'all who are just tuning in, y'all know that I haven't done like anything other than my YouTube help, my YouTube tips live streams, and then our game on Sundays for a while. And so this is just like, I'm kind of getting trying to get a feeler to see who's into the show. And I'm going to put out to y'all how I'm going to do my content around this show. And but it won't be all just the Gilded Age. So if you are not watching the show, you'll still be able to follow along with my content. So hey to CC, and I got a member in the house. I got Alicia's in the house, Keisha, Barbara, Larga Curves. I'm just kind of going through you guys. Let me see here. Let me see what y'all are saying. Roz says Peggy's story is spicy. Yes, it is. Okay, so let's go on and just talk about Peggy. Do you all think that she's going to find her son in season 2? Do y'all think she's going to find her son? Do you think that she's going to be able to mend her relationship with her father in season 2? Is her mom going to leave her dad? What do y'all think is going to happen? Let me know what y'all think is going to happen for season 2 for her. Just Divine says she'll be tuning in. Keisha says you missed the show. You love the show. Yeah, like y'all, I'm so surprised that it took me so long to figure out that it was coming back, because I was watching and waiting. Oh, Tequila says season 2 starts on October 29th. So just in case you canceled your HBO Max subscription because you were only watching this show, which I pretty much was just watching this show and watching it on repeat, October 29th. I'm rewatching season 1 right now. By October 29th, the show is back. So let's see here. Hey, Larga Curve says, Will, because I knew you were going to be reviewing it. Oh, I went back and watched season 1 for the first time. I love it. It was a great season. You're right. The actresses are phenomenal. Everybody on this show is phenomenal. Like the people who you are supposed to empathize with, you do. The people who we're supposed to hate, we do. And that's because they are all giving exactly what they are supposed to give. I just, oh man. I can't. Yeah. And the show is definitely well written thanks to Julian Fellows. Shout out to everybody who loves Downton Abbey the way that I do. After Downton Abbey, I was just sold on Julian Fellows, and I wanted to know anything that he was doing. So if you are not, I see a lot of people, well, not a lot, a few people who are like, I've never heard of this show. Give yourself a treat, especially if you're already subscribed to HBO Max, and watch season 1 of The Gilded Age. And what I'm going to do is review season 1 leading up to the premiere of season 2. So had I known, and again, this is where I got sidetracked. I don't know how I missed that the show was coming back, because for a long time I was looking. I remember it, being on at the beginning of last year, kind of maybe ending maybe around February or January. So I was like, maybe March, I don't know, but I know that like all the beginning of this year, I was looking, and then there would just be random moments, like maybe just one random day in April, I'll go to look to see if it's coming back. And then it just so happened yesterday, I caught something that ended, like the trailer for season 2 had been out for 3 weeks with a release date. And I'm like, what? How did I miss that? So I know now. And so I'm going to be on it. And if you have been watching my Titanic content and you're interested in that, I'm going to do my Gilded Age content kind of along the same lines. That way, so for the people who thank you all, like who don't watch the show and you just came because I'm streaming. So for the people who don't watch the show, but you do enjoy my content, I'm going to do some things that are related to the show, but you don't have to watch the show to follow the video. So this is what I'm planning on doing. Leading up to the season premiere, I'm going to review episodes 1 through 9 from season 1 once a week. Mondays is what I have in mind. You all who watch the show, let me know, because like the show, I believe, is going to be on Sundays. And so I'm going to come and I'm going to review it on the following day. Just an unscientific poll. Will you let me know if Monday mornings, afternoons, or evenings are better for you? And I realize that we're all in a different time zone. I'm in the Central Standard Time Zone. Keep that in mind. And I want to get to what you all are saying about this. So I'm going to do that, which means that I'm going to have to double up on 2 of the episodes, just to be able to stay on track, because it's a 9 episode season for episode 1. Episode 2 is 8. Season 2 is 8 episodes. So I believe that what I'll do starting tomorrow is I'll review episode 1 live. And I want to kind of just give you all a feel for what it's going to be like for me to just live stream review. But then on Tuesdays, which if you've been around lately, I'm doing something a little bit differently. I want to get myself back on a schedule. So Tuesdays now is going to be the day that I drop my full-blown scandals that I do on the channel. So Tuesdays are now called Tillet Tuesdays, thanks to the man who I tagged in a post from last week when I let y'all know at first I was going to do Messy Mondays. But he was like, what about Tillet Tuesdays? I was like, I like that. That has a good ring to it. And it gives me an extra day to edit if I need an extra day. And so tomorrow I will review episode 1 from season 1. And then I will also, on Tuesday, I'm going to drop a scandal. Well, full-blown, it's not, well, it is somewhat scandalous. But anyway, the video that relates to the content is about Seneca Village. Seneca Village was a village of mostly Black Americans, that was formed in 1825. It was razed or leveled or demolished, whatever you want to say, in order to create Central Park. Not only that village because that is a small part of what creates Central Park. But this was a place where a few black people were able to get their hands on some plots of land, and then it grew into a little something. Eventually Irish immigrants moved there as well, but by the time that it was over, which it only lasted for 32 years, by the time that it was over, it was still roughly 66% black, and most of the rest of the whites were Irish, but there were some German immigrants. And so I'm going to talk about that because there is talk about Central Park. You can't do a television show based in New York City becoming New York City and not, have some scenes in Central Park. And they did have those scenes in season one. So I'll talk about that. And so that's what I'll do. I'll review an episode on Monday, and then the following day, I'll give y'all a story about something or someone or some event that happened in the show that was actually a real life thing. So that way, the people who don't watch the show can still get content from me that, then they don't have to be like watching the Gilded Age. So let me get through some more of these comments. Laura Curve says, I think that the mom is definitely going to leave the dad for keeping her grandbaby away from. I wonder, like, and I would hate to see them break up. And I love their family. I guess like dad, he's just thinking of his daughter's reputation and her future, and he calls himself doing the best that he can for her, but he's just really gone about it the wrong way. Let's see here. Tequila says you think that she'll find her son. Let's see here. Roz says, I hope that mom leaves dad and Peggy and helps Peggy raise her child. Oh my gosh. Catherine, you've never heard of the show? Definitely check it out, Catherine. And this is just like me because I think this show is great. I think the show is great. Beignets and Bordeaux, you haven't watched the show yet. Watch it. You will enjoy it. I'm trying to tell you. Let's see. Oh, Just Divine, you're gonna rewatch season one. Yeah, so if y'all want to like to start watching season one tonight, let's get geared up for Sundays because it's going to be coming on Sundays. Then I will come and I'll review the show on Mondays live. And if you all know, also drop in the comments if you all know of some other content creators who have reviewed season one, because I wouldn't mind doing a live stream collaboration with some other people who have already been reviewing the show. If you know someone who has already been reviewing it, let me know who they are. I can go and watch their content and see if, like, I think they'll be a good fit for us, and maybe just hit some people up and see if they want to come and do a collaboration with us and entertain us over here. Let's see. Keisha says, yeah, Julian Fellows is an excellent creator. Tequila Loves Downton Abbey, yes. Let's see here. Beignets and Bordeaux says, I love it when Black women are able to mingle amongst high society and they aren't slaves or maids. Yeah. Yeah. And Peggy is definitely that. She comes from an upper middle class Black family. Her mother teaches piano, and her father owns a pharmacy. And Peggy wants to be a writer, and he doesn't like that because he knows that writers don't get paid, especially Black women. He's like, what are you thinking? I want to give this pharmacy to you. And so he's got good ambitions for his daughter, but he's definitely going about it the wrong way. Catherine, I believe that only because it's a period piece. That's the only thing that's like Bridgerton like about it. This far exceeds Bridgerton, in my opinion. And that could just be because, I'm not that impressed with Bridgerton. I'm so sorry. I watched it. I watched the first season because it did entertain me. The second season was less entertaining, in my opinion. And it's just, listen, I do love, Black representation. Um, I think that Shonda Rhimes' Black characters are overrepresented in Regency England. It's just a little weird to me. It's, the story is good, but this exceeds Bridgerton in every way, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Let's see. You didn't see the trailer either, Tequila, and I wish I could show it, but yeah, like, you can find the trailer here on YouTube. I would like to be able to show it without, getting like a copyright strike or something. Let's see here. Monday evening, please, Joelle says. Joelle Gillette. Thank you. Says Monday evenings. So what about, okay, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time then is what, if I see more of you all saying evening. So far, I only see one person saying evening. If I go for evening, it'll be like 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. Let me know what y'all think about that. Will they give us all the episodes at once? They didn't last season, so I doubt that that's what they'll do this season. And honestly, I think that like with a show like this, I think that it would benefit streaming services to not just give all the episodes at once, because people could binge watch and then just cancel their subscription until the next season. So I believe that they're going to do them 1 week at a time. That's just my thought. Let me know. I could be wrong, but that's what they did last season. So I think they'll keep that going. Let's see here. Listen, Keisha. Keisha, I'm gonna need to do a whole episode on just Mr. Russell. You made me pull out my bottled water, girl. Mr. Russell is fine. So, okay, let me pull up the IMDb and see what pictures I can find, since I can't show the trailer. Let me just see if I can like find, usually like if you pull up a show, you can like they'll have just some photos that go with it. Let's see here. Oh, okay, give me a second, you guys. Because this is just kind of just a little off the cuff, like non-scripted thingamajig that we're doing here. Let me see if we can get some good photos. Trailers and clips, reviews, overview, episode guide, images. Let's see what kind of. These are just on Google. Let me go to IMDb. Hang on, y'all. IMDb. And if I can find that they have some good cast pictures, I'll share. But let me look it up here. Let's see. Okay, they've got some photos. Let me take a glance at their gallery and see. Oh, yeah, these photos look great. Okay, so let me share this screen with y'all. Hold on. Present. Let's see. Video, share screen. Okay, are y'all looking at the screen now? Are y'all able to see the lovely Peggy and Marion? Let's see. Oh no, I have to remove this. Hang on. Sorry. Give me just a second. I'm tripping. There. And now let me do it like this. Okay. So here are the characters, and we'll do a rundown, but let me go on and get to Mr. Russell. Since Keisha said Mr. Russell's fine. Let me look at the rest of y'all's comments. Oh, thank you so much, Catherine. Thank you. Listen, I appreciate that y'all enjoy the kind of content that I do, because, I know it's kind of a specialty thing, and, people rather talk about other things that are more current and everything, but this is just like really, really fun to me. Listen, I was worried that it would not return either, Joelle. I was worried. I was worried. I was so happy though when I saw that it was returning. So okay. Let me see if I can go on and just find a picture of Mr. Russell, since we have talked about him. I'm just going through this picture gallery is really nice that they have. Okay, so this is the couple. I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody says. This is their show. So, for anybody who's kind of new to the show, the basic thing is that this is an old money versus new money type of show. This is New York in like its infancy, kind of like before it became like the big city, right? I mean, it's after the industrial era, but still, this is in the Gilded Age. Like that area that's like right after slavery, right? Like some people will say it's like the 1870s through. Some people say the 1890s. Some people will go as far as the 1910s. But so that's the area that we're dealing with, the late 1800s. And the people in New York, there are the old money people, and then there are the new money people who we kind of associate with the robber barons, or like the men who some say like get the credit that they should not, for being like the ones who kind of built the country. Your you know, JP Morgan Chase, your Vanderbilt, the Rockefellers, the names like that. So they're the new people in town, but they are like extremely rich. And this guy, Mr. Russell, he's basically a mix of Commodore Vanderbilt and Jay Gould, two extremely wealthy railroad tycoons who were ruthless in their business practices. And for me, just to look at him, he doesn't like necessarily give anything just at face value, but he becomes the finest, hottest guy on the planet when I see how he goes to bat for his wife, who is a little bratty thing who just wants to be in the in crowd with these society women. She has more money than them, but money is not what they care about. They want to know that you have a name and that your name goes back generations in this city, or in this country, even, for you to be able to have a standing in their crowd. She's left all of her old friends behind. She says she wants new friends, new, better friends. She wants to be in society. And these society women are slighting her, even though her husband has more money than all of their families put together. She still can't get in. And so, my favorite scene, or for sure one of my favorite scenes from season one, is when his wife is trying to, get in that crowd, and the ladies are throwing a charity bazaar, and they didn't invite her. And in addition to not inviting his wife, they didn't take up her invitation to use her ballroom. So the Russells, they have just built this wonderful palace that has this huge ballroom that they can't fill because no one will come and visit them because they're not in. And so when she's told that, well, we've already, booked the armory. And so the wife, Miss Russell, extends the offer. Well, hey, if things fall through the armory, you can just use my ballroom. And it just so happened that things fell through the armory. They were double booked, but they went to a hotel that's not even fashionable anymore. And that's where they had their bazaar. So because his wife's feelings were hurt, Mr. Russell took his wife to the bazaar to go and buy a few things to help with the charity for poor women and children. And he shut down every single booth. The booths were looking to raise, let's say, somewhere between $30 to $40. He gave everyone operating a booth $100, told them to have everything delivered to him to his home within the hour, and that would be everything. And so the bazaar was supposed to last for 3 days. He went and shut it down in 5 minutes by paying everybody to shut it off. And he, expressed that, hey, you guys, the city aldermen, your wives disrespected my wife, and he made them pay for it. So yeah, so that is why he is the hottest guy. Not only that, the his wife has a maid, a lady's maid, who is supposed to be helping her, helping the wife understand how things go in high society, because she's worked for someone who was in the old vanguard. And so she can help this woman learn her way around and show her the right things to do, the right ways to dress. But the lady's maid likes Mr. Russell too. And she goes as far as to get in Mr. Russell's bed naked, trying to get it on with him. So remember, these are the days when couples who had money like this had their own separate bedrooms. So the maid crept into his bed naked and tried to get it on with him. And she's a younger woman. I guess she would have been attractive by those standards, of that time. And when he saw it, he told her off, let her know, I don't need any woman except for my wife. And you get your little booty out of here. I'm not interested, hussy. And he sent her on, and he said that he wouldn't even tell his wife because he knew that his wife loved her and he thought that it would hurt his wife's feelings. So the way that this man goes to bat for his wife makes him the finest thing in the cast. Let me see what y'all are saying. What are y'all saying? Hey, Journey with Karen. Thanks for coming. Hey, there's no such thing as late because we don't take attendance. We're just having a good time. Let's see here. What are y'all saying? Oh, hi, Cotton Candy says, I'm glad you're going to read the series. I'm obsessed with it. I am too. I love your picture. I am too. Yes, yes, he was fine. Is that what that is? Fine, fine. Yeah, okay, so he did fine. Up the more his character okay, yeah, I guess like he looked like more fine, like like the more that you can see his character shine through, like the more attractive he became for sure. Listen, yeah, when he shut down that bazaar, I had to rewind so I could keep like, listen, that was it for me. That was it for me. I agree. I agree. I love this man. Love him. Love him. Love him. Let's see. Yes, 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 Catherine. You have the idea. But like Vanderbilt, like that wasn't old enough for them. Like well, no, the Vanderbilts were, I guess. But like all of those names that we just associate with big money, like the Rockefellers for sure, they would have looked down on them. They would have looked down on Jay Gould. They would have looked down on Chase. I'm sorry, on JP Morgan. They would have looked down on yeah, like still like big money, but they just came like a generation after, the other families did, or maybe two generations after, so they were like looked down upon. Let's see here. What are y'all saying? Oh, Belladonna says, I just came back from Rhode Island and toured the mansions where this show is filmed. The mansions are beautiful. Yeah, so they do use, I guess, like some of the scenes that are supposed to be like in the Newport summer homes are filmed in mansions in Rhode Island, and they have some scenes that are filmed in New York, but they did have to go and venture out other places to create this world to make it look like 1880s New York City. And I think that they did a fabulous job. They did a fabulous job. Hey, is it Manrico? Listen, thank you, Keisha. As I said it best, that man. Listen, like Mr. Russell, do you have a brother who's interested in black girls? Can't wait to check out the show. Spoilers. So I will only give I'll give spoilers for season 1 because I'm going to review it, and I think that like most of us who are here, we've already had a chance to check out the show. But I don't mind, like, if you're asking like for me not to give spoilers, or if you're saying like please give some, I don't mind giving some. Let's see. Thank you. A tribute to the Marvel character Storm. Okay, okay, nice. That is nice. Yes, it's old money versus new money. Let's see here. Yes, Barbara says, and I agree. Mr. Russell is fine. Great to see a man treat his wife with great respect. Absolutely, even when she doesn't deserve it, right? Because you'll remember, like later in the season, when he's going through his trial after the train wreck, she's so worried about, the dinner with Ward McAllister. And she's just like, oh, this whole thing where you might go to prison, this could ruin my chances to get into society. And he's like, girl, I don't give a damn about Ward McAllister coming to dinner. Do you realize I could be facing prison time? And he sees it hurts her feelings. And then like but he spruces up and does what he's got to do to help her get through her dinner. But like, even when she doesn't deserve it, he still comes through. But she's not my favorite person, but I gotta say, she is ride or die for him too. They are a great couple. because, as we recall, when the alderman tried to bankrupt him, and he told her that it could happen. He's like, if I challenge these guys, we could lose everything. She was fine with that. What did she tell him? Well, if you lose it, you lose it. You've made it before. You've made a fortune before. You can make a fortune again. And when she found out that everything went as it should have in his favor, she's like, oh, okay, well, that means I don't have to scrub floors now. She wasn't going to leave this man. She believes in this man. And so I guess that maybe that for him makes it worth, putting up with some of her not so great characteristics, right? But yeah, you guys, I cannot tell you how excited I am that this show is back. Let's go back through this gallery. I'll start at the beginning. Let's see. I think there's only one more picture. Okay, so yeah, that's that. Okay, so we've got really, we're kind of looking at the show through Marion's eyes. This is Marion and Peggy. Marion is the white lady on the left. Peggy is the black lady on the right. Marion is from Philadelphia, I believe, right? Let me know if I'm. Oh no, she's from Doylestown. She's from Doylestown. She's not from any place fashionable. And her father has passed away at the start of the show, and she thought that they were doing kind of well financially, and she doesn't find out until her father is dead that she doesn't have anything. Um, an attorney is going through like her father's will and I guess like his last orders of business, and he lets her know that I'm going to waive my fee. And she's like, oh no, you don't have to do that. He's like, yeah, I do, because girl, all you have is $30. And she's like, well, that can't be so. He's like, because what about the house? He's like, your dad was renting it. She didn't even know that her father was renting the house. And he's like, what? You got a month, go on and figure it out. So the only other family she has is family who she's not been in contact with. And those are her aunts who live in the fashionable old money place in New York City, where the couple who we just talked about, they move across the street from her with their huge, ridiculously, comically huge palace that they build across the street from this, brownstone that's also very nice. And rich money, old money, rich people live in those kinds of places. But so that's where Marion's going back home to. Well, that's what's going to become her new home. These aunts who live in a fashionable old money place in New York City. And she's leaving Doylestown on a train to get there, and all of her money is taken because these guys, like these pickpockets, basically come up with a scheme and they snatch her purse, and she's able to get home train fare because Peggy, the black woman, loans her the money to get there. Peggy, and you can see she's dressed comparably. Both of these ladies, they're dressed very nice. These are like clothes that would anybody would have wanted to wear in 1882. And so Peggy has to, like, I guess Marion gets like her first taste of what Black Americans live like through the eyes of Peggy. And even with Peggy, she's getting I guess a softer version because Peggy comes from money. Peggy has more money than Marion does. So they become friendly. Marion oversteps some boundaries, and we'll talk about that as I go through, the episodes one by one. But that's who we're just going kind of viewing a character rundown. Marion is an inexperienced woman. She's, I guess, somewhat excited for the change. Of course, she's missing her father, but she's also on this path where she's looking for love, and she has an aunt who's trying to hip her to some game. And Marion, because she doesn't understand the ways of the old money people, even though she kind of comes from that, she doesn't really know it the way that they do in New York City. So she's she's bucking the system a little bit. um and then we have Peggy, who we've talked about at the beginning, so I'll just kind of go through some more. So these are the aunts. who are kind of more front and center in the gold and purple. Uh, Ada and Agnes. Are those her names? Ada Brooks is Cynthia Nixon, the one on the left. And she's the younger of the two sisters, who has lived her life as a spinster. Also seems to be pretty naive, but she has her moments when she snaps and she'll let you know that like she knows some things. But then it is the uh Christine Baranski, is that how her name is said? Uh that is Mrs. Van Rhijn. She's a widow and she married into money, and she did that because she didn't have a choice after her father died. So Marion, who we just looked at, the young lady, her father was the brother of these two women. And when their father died, the brother was supposed to look after everyone, but the brother squandered off their money on things that seemed pretty frivolous, like women and gambling, things of that nature. I guess he was like a good time boy. I guess is the way that you might say that. And so Mrs. Van Rhijn had no choice but to marry some man who apparently did not seem to be really pleasant, but she married into money, and after he died she's able to live a comfortable lifestyle, and her sister is able to live that lifestyle with her. It was her sister, the younger one, who wrote to the niece and was like, hey, why don't you come and live with us, because they probably all kind of knew that our brother likely didn't leave you with anything. If he was anything like when our father died, he probably left you out there kind of bad, so why don't you come home and call this your new home. Let me see what y'all are saying. Um, what are y'all saying? Let me see. Yes, yes, yes. Miss Russell said she would make another fortune with him and spend it again. I love that. And that was the night that he asked if he could sleep in her room. So I think he liked that too. Forgive me, y'all. I'm getting a sip of my water. I came here straight from I went for a 3-mile run, and then I came up here for like 2 minutes, and then I had to go walk my dogs, and then I had to come straight here. So that's why like I'm actually a few minutes late, but I'm like dehydrated. Let's see here. So what are y'all saying? Cotton Candy says the Russells are a true power couple. Love how they had each other's back. Yeah, for sure. Tequila says Marion's my least favorite character. Um, my least favorite character, y'all. I'm gonna have when I go over the old seasons, I'll get these characters' names down because this is my first time reviewing a scripted TV show in a long time. Like when I first started my channel, I reviewed a show called Damnation that got canceled because it was interesting looking to me. Oh, and I did review also Underground, but it also got canceled. So hopefully, I'm not the reason that these shows are getting canceled, and this one won't get canceled after I review it. But I want to, I'll have all the names and everything down. But my least favorite character is that bitch downstairs with the servants who keeps giving Peggy a hard time. Mrs. Van Rhijn's lady maid. I can't remember her lady's maid. I cannot remember her name. Um, I can't remember her name. And Turner is a close second. These ladies' maids on this show, they are my least favorite characters. But yeah. I think that Marion, I think that once she gets some more experience, she'll be she'll be better. But y'all don't like her. I'm not gonna be mad at it. She's not my favorite, but she's definitely not my least favorite. There are some nastier people on here, in my opinion. Just my opinion. My opinion. Yes. Let's see here. Um, Cotton Candy says, I didn't even realize there was a black elite class in New York during the Gilded Age until this show came out. Wow. And see, that's why I'm going to do the content that I'll be doing on Tuesdays, and I'm going to keep it going beyond this show. So if you've been here and you've been watching my Titanic content, the content that I'm going to do that's related to the show is going to be along those lines. So there are some people in the show who are people in real life. Peggy is not one of them, but the notion that there are people like Peggy and like Peggy's family that existed, I do want to discuss. That's why I'm going to get into Seneca Village, the Black village that was the mostly Black American village that was destroyed, along with others, in order to create Central Park. Because well, I won't go into everything there, but there's always been a notion that these were just poor Black people who got ran off of their property, but these were middle working class people who were able to buy land in Seneca Village, and and build homes and have a thriving community until they couldn't. But these people existed, and so I'm looking forward. Like they existed before Madam C.J. Walker, and so I'm looking forward into getting into that. Um, a name that you heard and may or may not remember, Stanford White. I know in my watching this show, episode 1, that was the first name of a person who I heard who I knew was a real person. If y'all remember, the architect who built the Russell's house is Stanford White. He was a real person. We see him on the show, and we see him like in the middle of season 1. The What is the Russell's son? I believe his name is Larry. When he's talking about how he wants to become an architect because he doesn't want to follow in his father's footsteps and be the much lesser son of someone who was great. He wants to carve his own path and go into architecture. So he's like, yeah, I'll just maybe Stanford White will talk to my dad. Stanford White is a real person who had some real life scandals, and I'm going to talk about him. I think he'll probably be the next story after I'm done with Seneca Village. And oh, we have a new member. I need to welcome Andrea. You've been around here forever. It feels like you've already been a member, but thank you so much for becoming a member. I truly, truly appreciate it. And I want to do I'll keep that under wraps. But yeah, I want to do something a little bit different, y'all, because I want to be live streaming a little bit more often. Um, because it's just like kind of where I think my core audience is. It, the channel is big, but um I think that like the people who are like really, really locked in are the people who come for the live streams, because I don't get like a ton of views like while I'm live. I'll get more views after, um but I like this, and I want to do like some more like intimate things with y'all. So yeah, super excited about that. Thank you again, Andrea, for joining. We have a member, a new Duchess in the family. Thank you so much. So let's see here. uh Stanford White, like I was saying, I'm going to get into him. Some of the people who were on the show, if y'all have, and like that's another thing, like if y'all have questions about like who was real or did this thing really happen, let me know, because that will make great content for me. But I can give y'all a little bit of a rundown. I'm going to talk about Mrs. Astor, who was a real person. I'll do a video on her. Do y'all remember the scene? Probably like one of Mr. Russell's first big dig energy scenes, when he was talking about how he wanted to buy some rail line from this company that was going to like basically interfere in some line that he was building. So he wanted to like buy this stretch of rail because it would be perfect to connect to like beyond where he wanted to build. And the guy was like, well, no, he didn't want to sell him. So the guy wanted to negotiate and get a higher price. And so instead, Mr. Russell told I don't know, I guess like his secretary. It's so weird to call a man a secretary in those days, but I guess like, well, but he also had that woman who was stealing from him. But anyway, y'all know like the guy, that older guy who works with Mr. Russell, he told him that Mr. Russell told him, well, like forget him. He's like, I'll just build my rail line next to his. And they're like, but that's gonna cost you so much. He's like, yeah. When like this guy, he's putting on a clinic in how to play the long game. He's like, yeah, it is going to cost me a lot, but it's going to cost me a lot now. But the word will get out that when I make a second offer, you need to take it. People aren't going to be refusing my second offer. And that's what the guy was trying to do. he wanted to refuse the second offer. Let's come back to the table, give me some more money. And so now, instead of you're taking my second offer, which was, I'm sure, a little bit more generous than the first, I'll ruin you instead. I will ruin you financially instead. And that really happened. Obviously, it wasn't Mr. Russell, but that was a thing that really happened. So some of this stuff in here, some of these people definitely did exist. Some of the people did not, but people like them existed. And some of these situations really did happen, just not with these characters. So if you want to know about some of these things, then definitely let me know. I'm going to be doing videos about all of this. Mrs. Fish, the lady with the crazy parties, the doll party lady out in Newport, she was a real person. I'll make a video about her. So again, you don't have to watch the show to keep up with the content that I'm going to do that complements it. But if you're watching the show, it'll be, all the more better. You'll be like, oh, wow, that was a real thing. So that's what I'm working on for y'all during this. So Duchess of Petty, hello, says, I love this show. I'm going to rewatch season 1. Yes, I'm glad you're going to rewatch it, Duchess of Petty. And if you do want to come back, it looks like Mondays at 7 p.m. CST is kind of what y'all are voting on for me to come and recap the show. So I will get on that starting tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm Central. I will recap episode 1, and we'll just recap all the episodes leading up to the premiere on October 29th. But that will mean that season 1 was a 9-episode season. So I'm pretty sure that means that I'm going to have to do episodes 6 and 7 as one review, and then episodes 8 and 9 as one review. So I think that's how that's going to have to work, I believe. Let's see. Thank you. Duchess says she loves my Titanic. And I'm going to keep doing those as well. I'm going to get back to the Titanic passenger videos. And so much of this goes hand in hand with that. There's no need for me to stop that. And thank you. Says, I've been watching your channel for about a month. I'm loving your content. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for your generous gift to the channel. The 5 big ones, right? Because all the ones that we get here are big. Let me get back up here. What are y'all saying? Carmen Nonchalant, hello. um, Deborah, hi Deborah, says Ward McAllister. That around the women. Yes, Ward McAllister was a real person. So he was in real life Mrs. Astor's right-hand man. And so there's an episode early on when you hear the aunt, Ada Brooks, tell Marion that it would be easier if you would just pick somebody from McAllister's 400. That is the list of people who he said were good enough to be in Mrs. Astor's ballroom. So if you could get you somebody on this list, then you're in. Let's see. Yes, Vicky, that's him. Mr. McAllister. Ward McAllister is his name. I'm going to do a video about him. Shout out to Grown Woman Vibes. Are the Vibers in the house? Is the Blue Heart Gang in the house? Thank you so much, Grown Women Vibes, for dropping those magnifying glasses for us. In case you don't know, and you love it here, but you didn't know who we are the Messtorians, the messy historians, and our mascot is the magnifying glass, because we are always looking to see what we can find out about somebody's business. Okay, that's what we do here. So let's see here. Yes, Mr. Russell is a bad ass. And did you mention that he's fine? I think that you did, but it's worth mentioning again. Mr. Russell is all that. Listen, you guys. Mr. Russell, if you have a brother who has even 75% of your drive, ambition, and money, and he happens to like Black women, give him my email address, Mr. Russell, because I would never pull a stunt like the lady's maid Turner and try to come between you and Brenda, but I would like to get my hands on a guy like you. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm just going to leave it at that. That is me shooting my shot at Mr. Russell's brother. Or if you have a cousin, Mr. Russell, you're one fine man. Okay. I'm just going to say that after a night at the opera and you're done clapping for the performers, you can come over here and clap these cheeks. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, let me continue. Hey, Jewel. Jewel is in the house. So, this is on HBO, Catherine. However you get it, or and look, I know it's like HBO Max. I don't get it. I just have my subscription, and I I don't know, but I'm sure if you like look up HBO Max, you'll be able to get it wherever you can find it. Let's see here. Vicky says, I watched season one last night and I was hooked all over again. Yes, it does not take much. It does not take much. Like, it's such a good show. Such a good show. Listen, we all agree. We all agree. That's not funny. I'm dead ass serious. He's so fine. He's so fine. Oh, okay. And so let me go on and give y'all what I do know about season two. Is that obviously it's still old money versus new money, but they're taking it to the music, the opera houses. This is where it is. So y'all remember, I believe in episode 3, when they were talking about how these, this group of ne'er do wells, they've been, plotting at Delmonico's and saying that they want to they're thinking about building their own opera house because we won't give them their boxes at the academy. Well, that's what this season is about. Because remember, Marion said, well, why are y'all being that way? I mean, they've got so much money, they could build their own bigger, better opera house. And nobody wanted to hear that. Remember, Marion's aunt told her, okay, be quiet, let somebody else speak now. And Marion's not understanding, but she's like, but no, I don't get it. Like, seriously. And she's like, hey, girl, like, don't be saying those people's names here. Don't be talking about Mrs. Russell with her low breeding, and what she could buy. We don't want to hear that. So, yeah, that's what it's going to be about, a battle of the opera houses. And yes, Dakila says the black newspaper guy was real. I listened to the comparison podcast after the show. They did great. So yes, the black newspaper guy who she's talking about is T. Thomas Fortune. He was a real person as well. He is the one who Peggy is working for. And this is going to be interesting because I know that in real life he was married. And so I wonder if like they're going to either, and I don't think they're not going to turn Peggy into his wife. I wonder, like, if they're trying to say like he's not married yet at this time, because it definitely looks like there's some kind of romantic chemistry between him and Peggy. I wonder if like Peggy's going to be the side chick and doesn't realize that he has a wife. Like, that could be interesting. That could be interesting. Oh, but then back to um the comment about my Titanic content from Duchess of Petty. So, like I was saying, a lot of what's going on here is related to Titanic because, again, Titanic, that was 1912. This story is taking place in 1882. So the people who were on the Titanic, they were the children and grandchildren of the people who are on this show, right? Again, Mrs. Astor, who was the most Mrs. Astor, right? Ward McAllister is her sidekick, and she's the one who controls society. She has the ball with the 400 people. Who was the wealthiest passenger who passed away on the Titanic? John Jacob Astor, right? So there are ties. Delmonico's is mentioned in this show. That is like the pinnacle of fine dining, the genesis of fine dining in America, in New York City. And I did some content on Benjamin Guggenheim, who was also a millionaire who traveled on the Titanic, and his wedding was at Delmonico's. Like, there are so many ties in between this show and Titanic. It's like is It's unbelievable. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into all of those things. Let me get back to this picture gallery and take another swig of water. Okay, the Russells. There's the fine, fine, fine Mr. Russell. Hello. Okay. And there's Christine Baranski. Am I saying her name correctly? That's our aunt, our rich aunt, who was trying to warn Marion that this lawyer you like, he's an adventurer and I'm never wrong. Okay. Okay, that's Bertha Russell. That's Mr. Russell's wife. Boo. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see here. Do they have any more good pictures? What is this? Okay, so there's Bertha and Mr. Russell up close. And this is just, I'm just looking at the pictures that they have of the show on IMDb. Let's see. Okay. So we have, oh, you guys, what is, okay, so on the left, that's the attorney, Mr. Rakes. I can't remember her name, y'all. The lady next to him, is it Mrs. Is it Fines? If anybody can remember her name, let me know. I'll go over it when we get to the episodes. And then, of course, Marion, the niece, which Marion and Peggy, I love the way that they are dressed every time. Every time. All their outfits are wonderful. And then on the far right is the aunt. Is the Aunt Ada. But the one in the middle, I can't remember her name. I've got to go back and watch, but I'll have all the names, I promise, by the time that we review the show. She is one of the ones who's married to the alderman. Remember, who tried to screw over Mr. Russell, and she was close to the one who, her husband was an alderman as well. But remember the man who ended his life? I believe in episode 3. He ended his life because he was going to be financially ruined for trying to pull a fast one over on Mr. Russell. And Mr. Russell hit them with the reverse Uno. Put the kibosh on that. Let's see. Is it Fane? That sounds right. Aurora Fane, I think is what it is, Karen. Thank you, Journey with Karen. I think that it's Aurora Fane. Does that sound right to y'all? Aurora Fane. And so Aurora Fane said, look, after she watched her friend lose all her money and watch her husband lose his life, she's like, yeah, I think that it's time to go on and help Mrs. Brenda Russell get into society. Okay, enough of these mean girl games, because I'm not trying to be poor and I'm not trying to be a widow. So let me go on and get on the good foot and welcome her on into society. So yeah, Aurora Fane. Let's see here. Okay. So let's see. Hi, Rebel 89. Okay, so this is one of the Newport parties. That's Miss. Okay, so on the left we have Ward McAllister, played by Nathan Lane, and then that's Mrs. Fish, who throws all of the crazy parties. And she likes to have all the crazy games that seem a little bit embarrassing to people. I love the way that everyone is dressed here. Usually, I don't like the way that Bertha Russell is dressed, y'all. I hate to say it. I know that the clothing is expensive and all of that, but usually the fabric, the fabrics, because they always mix like patterns or like a solid with a pattern, and usually hers just do not go well for me. Um, she's like way over the top in her dress. I love the way that her daughter Gladys dresses. Gladys, who just wants to come out and be a woman and be able to date men and go places on her own. Um, Aurora Fane is next to Miss Fish, and then we've got Miss Brenda Russell next to Aurora Fane, and then with her back to us is the daughter, Gladys Russell, who just wants to be seen as an adult. And her name is Thaisa Farmiga, I believe. Um, And she's a grown woman, but if someone would have told me that she was a 12-year-old, I would have believed it. So like it's just funny hearing that, like, why isn't she out now? Like she's already 16 or she'll be 17 in a minute. Like if they would have said she was 12, I would have been like, I'm like, girl. So it's just funny like listening, watching her like complain about not being able to be seen as adult. I'm like, girl, you are 12. Go sit down somewhere. But no, she's just small. And that's her brother, Larry, I believe, who she's facing. And then we have Oscar Van Rhijn. That is the rich aunt's son, who is gay and who is carrying on a relationship with uh, Quincy Adams, the great grandson of John Quincy Adams, president, who was gay in real life. And but he knows that because of his standing in society, he's got to marry a girl, and he thinks that Gladys would be just perfect, even though he appears to be 20 years older than she is. And the guy that she wants to, go out with, he's like, well, doesn't he seem a little young for you? No, he seems like the perfect age for her. He's in her age range. But Gladys is such a great fit for him because one, he keeps saying that he's got to have money. I've got to marry money. And he comes from money. So let me know. Do you all think that he has done something like to where he's like maybe lost a lot of his fortune and he just hasn't told his mother? Do y'all think that maybe he's like gambling his money or doing something with his money that he hasn't told his mother? Because he's like on this quest for someone with money, but he comes from money. Like I understand like you're gonna marry a society girl who's like also going to have money, but it's like so important to him that I wonder if he's like already lost a lot and he's just like not letting on. But in addition to Gladys being a wealthy heiress, she's also very young and inexperienced. So he knows that like if he goes gallivanting off with his boyfriend in the middle of the night, she's so gullible, he can just tell her, "Oh yeah, hun, this is what all guys do." Or he can just, "Yeah, I'm going on a hunting trip with the fellas," and she'll be none the wiser. So he's just like, "Yeah, she's the perfect one. She's got it all. Money, and youth, which equals gullibility. So I can like play her like a fiddle and be just comfortable." And that's what he's thinking. So he's gross, but he does add for some good comic relief. Let's see. Okay, so there's T. Thomas, Fortune, and Peggy. Our girl Peggy at um it was the lighting of some building. Anybody remember what it was? And y'all look, if y'all have watched reviews of this show with people who know New York City, especially New York City history, let me know because that is an element that I would love to be able to get into as I review the show in real time. That would be like so 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 amazing. But so yeah, that's them. Do y'all think that they're going to have a romantic relationship? Let me get back to some of the comments. Let me get back to some of the comments. Listen, do y'all think that she's really, I don't think that her parents are going to let her marry Oscar. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. Like, unless she just like outright defies them. But I think that if she were to defy them in that way, then she would lose her money. And if she doesn't have her money, Oscar's not going to want her. I don't see her ending up with Oscar. And I'm saying that because remember the guy who she was so crazy about, Archie Baldwin, who she thought was just everything. Archie had all of he checked all the boxes for a high society guy. He comes from the right family, he was studying the right thing. He didn't have a lot of money for himself, but his parents had a lot of money and he was going into banking. So he checked all those boxes. Plus, he was age appropriate. Oscar didn't have all of that going for him, and they turned down Archie. So if they turn down Archie, I'm sure that her parents are going to turn down Oscar. I don't see that happening. Anything is possible, but I don't think that that's going to happen. Okay, thanks, Catherine. I got that right. Yes, she is an adult in real life, and like she can play a kid like probably for the next 10 years if she keeps aging the way that she is. She's an adult in real life. Journey with Karen. Let's see here. Um So you think maybe he's living beyond his means? I don't know, but yeah, remember the way he kept just saying, "I've got to get some more money. I can't marry without money." Like, why is that so important if you have money? And I suspect he's doing something to earn money. I don't know. I don't know. Did y'all think that they liked Oscar? I don't think that they liked Oscar. And remember, like, when Oscar came over for dinner, um, and he asked the question about like how the rail line was going or something, he made Mr. Russell uncomfortable. And so Ms. Russell like asked him a question to derail his conversation because she didn't like where it was going. And then Miss Russell and Mr. Russell had a conversation after that night. And he was like, "Oh, thanks for saving me from that conversation," basically. And he's like, "What do you think?" He's like, "Do you think she like that he likes Gladys?" And and no, maybe it was with his son Larry. He's like, "Yeah, do you think that Oscar is into Gladys like that?" And he mentioned like, "Yeah, he seems too old for her though." So I don't think they're fond of him in that way. I think that that the family, I think they're all just keeping an eye on him because the father did mention something about like how Gladys is going to be a really rich, woman. Basically like we got to be careful who's going to be around. I don't think that that the Russells are fond of him. Let me see. I meant that in the show they keep saying she's grown but never mention her age on the show. Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. So for a girl to come out around that time, I think 16 was the standard. Um, so I'm gonna say she's in her late teens on the show because they keep pressing that she should have already been out, and so that gives us some estimate as to what her age should be. The way that her father and her brother keep telling the mother, well, she should have already been out. She should have been out last year. So I'm thinking she's got to be 16, 17 years old. Um, Deborah says she thinks she's 18. So yeah, like I said, I think she's definitely in her late teens. She's definitely in her late teens. Okay, let's go to the next picture. Yeah, she looks way too young for that neighbor. Yeah, he looks like he needs to be dating somebody like in their 30s. He looks much older. So here's Marion with her aunts. I don't remember this particular scene. I do love her in that blue though. Yes. Love her in that blue. Okay, that's our rich auntie. Let's see what else. Peggy's parents. Okay, so this is the luncheon uh in which Marion embarrassed herself. Peggy's mother's birthday luncheon. And I look, so we know the deal with Peggy's father, and he's pushed her away from the man she married and made her give away her child. Because I guess his intentions are good. He knows that it's like super hard to make it in this world. He knows that as a black man, he knows that it's going to be a level of an extra level of difficulty for his daughter because she's a black woman. So he wants to set her up on a path to succeed. That's why he keeps harping on. He's like, I've got this pharmacy. I own a pharmacy because I want to hand it over to my child. But you want to go and write articles for these papers, and they're going to be paying you pennies. He wants what is right for her, but he wants to do it in a way that's controlling. So it's not. He's not going to succeed with that because we see that Peggy is a strong-willed girl. She's going to, she definitely has a mind of her own. But I'm looking forward to seeing how their story develops. Will he come around and just welcome the father and the child, the father of her child and the child? Because he seems like a man who would be concerned and who would care about legacy. Like he seems like he would want well for his own grandchild, and he can certainly provide well. But I think that like he just made a move in haste and was just like, I want Peggy to have a clean slate, and we want her to marry the right kind of guy. Y'all remember at that luncheon he was mentioning how somebody was back in town, someone who had just graduated from medical school at Howard, I think, and kind of like it was supposed to be a nudge to Peggy, like, hey, whatever, Derek is back in town, he just graduated medical school, and Peggy didn't care. So Dad, I think he's he's got the right, he means well, but he's going about it the wrong way. That's what I'm going to say about Dad. About her dad. Let me see if y'all are saying anything. And I'm going to end this like in 30 minutes because I was supposed to end it like 20 minutes ago. Well, no, not 20 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago because I came on late. And then for any of you, let me just make this announcement. If you have a YouTube channel and you want to get some tips on how to grow your channel, I'm doing a live Q&A on just whatever questions that you have about growing a YouTube channel, starting a YouTube channel. And I do that for an hour every Sunday at 5 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And right after that, at 6 o'clock p.m., well, it's actually 6:05 because I give myself 5 minutes to get a drink of water, give my dogs some treats, and then come back on. If you like music and music trivia, then come and play Ty's Hot Mess Music Jeopardy at 6:05 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's just literally a Jeopardy board game setup, and I ask trivia questions, and we're just playing for fun. So hang in there with me if you want to do that. Let's see here. What else do we have? Oh, your comments. What have y'all said? Yeah, he didn't really congratulate her about her writing. He kind of gave her a halfway congratulations when she said that she was able to get um, an article in the Globe, and he basically he was like, "Oh well, they'll give you a better shot than the Christian Advocate." And it's like, "Yeah, I think you're right." He's like, "But they're not going to pay you anything." Like, well, that was short lived, right? So the Peggy character is not supposed to represent any one particular person, and that is something that I've heard from Sally Richardson herself, who's an executive producer on the show. But she's like in the same way that Mr. Russell seems to be he could be a mix of Commodore Vanderbilt and Jay Gould and John D. Rockefeller because of all the situations he's in. Peggy could be a mix of Ida B. Wells and other prominent Black women in her time. But that's definitely the vibe that you're supposed to get. And so again, they're creating this fictional world that's mixed in a world of things that really did happen and some people that really did exist. And so if if Peggy invokes thoughts of those people, then they're doing their job on this show. Let's see here. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you. Oh, good. Look, it's always easier when I'm in the same time zone with the people I'm putting out content for. But, let's see here. What else do we have? Mr. Rakes. Her aunt tried to warn her. Her aunt tried to warn her about this guy. He's a social climber, but the aunt said that he was an adventurer, and I'm never wrong. I feel like the Aunt Van Rhijn is like the um aunt Aunt Violet or grandmother Violet in Downton Abbey. Just the old matriarch who's never wrong, the old widow matriarch who's never wrong, always right, always listen to this person. Yeah, for sure. Cotton Candy, the scammer. What, like, y'all? But why? Okay, look. Why do y'all did he just use Peggy because of her family name? Because he knew that she didn't have any money. And if he wanted to go to New York, why didn't he just go to New York and start using his own connections? Did he think that maybe he was going to go there and not be able to get any other women? So he's like, let me just pretend to like her until I'm able to get into the right circles, because he knows that her family has a name. What was his deal? I never really understood the end game with her and like why he strung her along. I didn't get that. I didn't understand why he did that. Love her in this yellow though. I loved all of her outfits. She and Peggy, when Peggy's in that red, that red and black where she met her father on the sidewalk. Those outfits are great. I hate this outfit that Mrs. Aurora Fane is wearing. I hate it, hate it, hate it. Love Peggy's outfit here. This is at the bazaar that Mr. Russell went and shut down. Love it. Ah, okay. Bannister is my favorite character downstairs. So the butler here, we got Bannister. I don't remember all the names, y'all. Can y'all help me with the names? I don't remember the little Irish girl's name. She was very threatened at first when Peggy came in, but she's come around. Um, and this lady next to her is the one who I say is my least favorite. I know that y'all don't like Marion. This woman here in the all black next to the butler in between the young Irish girl on the left. I don't like her. She has been making trouble for Peggy since she laid eyes on her. I love Bannister. He keeps everybody in their place. Don't worry about Miss Peggy. She's a secretary. She's ranked above you in this house. Don't worry about what's going on. Mind your business. I love it. Love it. And then I can't remember her, y'all. I will have the names down when I review it. I promise. Can't remember her name. To the right of Bannister, to the right of the butler, but I like her too. The one who got in a little bit of gambling trouble. Do y'all think that her gambling troubles are over? Because that was a weird thing to put in season one and just they pay off her debt and it goes away. I think that something more is going to happen with that. Do y'all think that she's going to get caught gambling again and have a bigger debt to pay? What? Let me know what y'all think about that. Let me know. And then the young man who took out the Irish girl, I can't remember his name either. Is his name Jack? I'm just saying stuff. Um, I like him too. And I will talk about the fire that killed his mother. I believe it was called Pestigo. Um, that was a real thing. That I'm glad that they talked about it here, but a lot of people I know like don't realize like what really did happen on the show and what didn't because they do put a lot of fictional things in, obviously, but they throw in just like kind of as a side some real life things, and I'll cover that as well. Let me see what y'all are saying about the gambler here. She doesn't know when to hold them and know when to fold them. She definitely does not know when to walk away or when to run. Let's see here. No, we didn't talk about her yet. Mrs. Chamberlain, who is based on a real life person. That'll be one of the videos that I do. We didn't talk about her yet because I hadn't seen any pictures of her. But it would be great if they would stop being such mean girls to her. It would be so great. That lady, the maid lady is my least favorite. Yep, she mean like her mama. Yep, she got it honestly. She got it honestly. She's my least favorite as well. And actually, I hate that after all that we saw of her, then they put in the scene with her mother. Like, don't try to humanize her now. Just because I don't feel sorry for her because she's got this mean old nasty mother. Because she's a very old woman, she can choose to not be like her mother. So yeah, like I was just like, please, y'all, don't try to humanize this cow. Not now. Not now. Let's see here. Yes, look, rewatch season one. I'm going to review season one, episode one tomorrow, apparently at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Yeah, I wonder where they're going to take her story, her gambling addiction. I wonder where they're going to take that. I don't want to see her get fired. She's a sweet lady. I want her to get some help. Okay, there's Bertha. Oh, let me know. Do y'all like Bertha's outfits? I generally do not like any of her dresses. However, on that one night when she went to the opera, or was it a symphony? No, she went to the opera. When she had on that red cape, oh, that was everything. She looked so good. And she was pregnant while she was filming this show. But she looked so good in that cape. And I loved when she was leaving the house, the double doors, and her maid, who had already tried to get in bed with her husband, uh Mr. Russell gave her maid that look like, damn, my girl looks good. You could never. And he just walks off. And she's just standing there with her face on the floor. And then her butler Church is like, Turner, don't you need have somewhere you need to be? Like, why are you just standing here? I think that Church realizes that Turner has a thing for Mr. Russell. And I think that other guy does too. Um, I don't know what his position is. Maybe I'll see a picture of him. But I think that, like, I mean, she's not subtle about it. I think that everybody knows that she wants to jump Mr. Russell's bones. She's not alone, girl. I understand. I do too. But girl, don't lose your job. Let's see here. Keisha says, I think she either is going to gamble again and she's going to steal stuff from the Van Ryans, or she has more scandal and the shark has secrets about her. That's my wild guess. That would be something. I don't know. I mean, look, I don't know. I'm just making predictions. You love Bertha's outfits. I feel so bad. I hate her outfits. They always just look way too gaudy for me. But I love Marion and Peggy. They just it's superb for me every single time. Every single time. I was ready for her to be fired from episode 1. Which one? The one at the Van Ryns or the one at the Russells? Which one? Let me see. What other pictures can we get through here? Now I haven't seen a picture of the person who I was trying to think of. The other person who I think is really on to Turner as far as like her wanting to be. Look now, y'all. I remember when Bertha put this outfit on. She was going. She was. I can't remember what event she was going to. But I remember she took Gladys with her. It was one of the high society events, or one of the ladies' society events, and she had that brooch on the collar of her dress, and she asks Turner, "Is it too much? Is the brooch too?" No, she's like, "Well, how do I look?" And Turner tells her that the brooch is too much on her neck. Girl, you literally have two birds sitting on top of your head on your hat, and your concern is the brooch. Like, everything about her outfits was just so gaudy to me. The design of them I liked. I liked the sleekness, the way that the material fell, but just it was always just a little too much, a little very much, a lot over the top. But I mean, you gotta show off your wealth, somehow. But I hate it. I hate her outfits. I hate them. But so the guy that I'm trying to think about in the other house, okay, the I guess that is he a valet? A valet? The bald guy who was taking off walking, and he went and like looked at some house, and there was some woman who came out, and he's like standing behind a tree, like, to where I don't know how the F she didn't see him. Like, he looked like he was pretty much in plain sight to me. And they're always asking, like, hey, when you leave here, where do you go? And he's like, oh, I just go for a walk. I just go to the park. But he's going to that house, some house, and like, what do y'all think that is? What is his secret? Like, is he someone who used to have money and he lost his station? Because there was something that he said that made me think that that could have been the case. I don't know, man. But he's the other one who is on to Miss Turner. And I think that the other lady in Miss Russell's house told Miss Turner, I think that guy's got a thing for you. I think that Miss Turner was like, oh, well, if he thinks that I've got an eye for some broken down valet, he can think again or whatever. Ugh. Aunt Van Rhijn looking across. This was episode 1, when she was just looking across their house and saw it being built, and then she just shuts the curtain in anger. Those ostentatious neighbors of mine. Let's see. That's a little Irish girl. And that's her and the guy. Y'all remember? I don't know why I want to call him Jack. Coming home from their date. Do y'all think that we're going to find out anything more about her father, who clearly has been abusive to her in a sexual way, but she hates her mother because her mother didn't do anything about it. Apparently, her father is out of his mind, and her mother stood by and let things happen to her. Do y'all think we're going to get any more of that storyline? Or will she be able to tell this guy who I keep calling Jack, and I don't know if that's his name, will she be able to tell him about it and like then they can form a real relationship? But right now, she just doesn't want to be touched. And I get it. But he doesn't know, so he thinks that he's done something wrong to her by wanting to hold hands and, be a little touchy-feely at the movie theater. He doesn't know what she's gone through. Do you think that she'll open up to him? Because he did tell her the story about his mother dying. So maybe what do y'all think about that? I don't know. That's him on their date. And look, he's so happy. And she's just like, eyes on the screen full. Don't touch me. He's so excited. Let's see. Bertha. Okay, so only one person agrees. Hey, y'all can like Bertha's outfits. I just I didn't think that they're just over the top. But I loved her in that cape. Like that's the time. If you're going to the opera, go all the way, honey. You have to show them what your husband's wealth can do. You wear all the jewels. Okay, there she is again. Look at how he looks at her. They're all playing it just right. Okay, like how many pictures do we need? They're just sitting down at a theater. Oh Lord. Okay, IMDb really liked that one very short, inconsequential scene. And that's the gambler telling her to give him a chance. Whatever. I cannot think of that heifer's name in the all black. I don't like her though. She's the one I don't like. Let's see. We're almost done. A few more, 15 more pictures. Let's just go through them. Then I gotta shut this down. Looks like a lot of repeats. Uh okay, so this is clearly one of the servants for the Russell household. I guess that this is just him taking a picture somewhere because I I don't remember this happening anywhere. Looks like he's getting ready to do something dangerous out in the woods. I don't like that. That kind of scared me. I needed a jump scare moment for that. And that's Larry. Do y'all think that Larry and Marion are going to end up together? Because clearly we know it's not going to work for Mr. Rakes. I know that her aunts won't be happy, but um, he comes from enough money to take care of her. Do y'all think that there's something brewing there? I don't know. Or no, oh no, that's not Larry. That's Archibald. That's Archie. Archie Baldwin. Is that Archie Baldwin? That's Archie Baldwin being told that he can't be with their daughter, with Gladys, and he was the perfect match. That's Archie. When they told him, yeah, so I'm gonna pay you off, and you better leave my daughter alone, or you'll never be able to work in this city ever again. And I hated that. So that is one of those times that Mr. Russell supported his wife when I wish that he hadn't, but he's going to go along with her. The men run the things outside of the household. The women run the household. The women run society. And so if the wife says that he's not a good fit, he's got to go along with that. And that broke that little boy's heart. And then he left and was like, Gladys is like, so we're gonna talk tomorrow. He's like, God bless you all. Like, no, girl, y'all not gonna talk tomorrow. When somebody says, God bless you all, that's like forever. I'm not gonna see y'all again. That doesn't mean I'll see you Tuesday. Huh. This is Mrs. Fish. I think that's at her doll party thing. We're gonna talk about that in a separate video. If his name is not Jack, I feel so bad. I don't know why I keep wanting to call him Jack. But there he is in his livery, his servant livery. Okay, so some behind the scenes stuff. They did a good job making some place look like New York City in 1880s. Okay. Agnes Van Rhijn. Carrie Ken, Bertha Russell. There he is, y'all. Morgan Spector. Look at all good. Oh man, I can't wait to see more of his character. I can't wait to see all of these people. Like they are so good. Louisa Jacobson. From what I understand, she's related to Meryl Streep. I don't know if she's a daughter, a niece, a granddaughter, something like that. She's related to Meryl Streep somehow. Danae Benton. I cannot wait to see more of Miss Peggy. And that's the outfit that I like her into, that red. Gosh, she looks so good. Okay. And that's it. Alrighty. Okay, so y'all know what I have coming up. I'm going to be keeping it history, history, history. If I want to talk about something that's happening that's like trending or pop culture, I'll just come on and do a live stream about it. But I want to keep my videos history. Like I went off into something a little bit different and talked about the whole Funky Dineva Chloe Bailey thing. And that's just not what I like making content about. Like I don't mind talking about it, but I was so uninspired making those videos. And I'm glad that people appreciate them because I have an opinion and I wanted to make some points, but um I just love the history lane, y'all, for me, and I'm so thankful that I have found some people who enjoy coming along this ride with me. But that's what I'll be doing, you guys, for the Gilded Age. So get ready for tomorrow, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. It's the Gilded Age Season 1, Episode 1, as we are on the countdown to episode 2 premiere on October 29th of our favorite show. And we'll be testing with the times. So for now, it's Monday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. If we can get it to something earlier, that would be great for me. But it's, we'll see when the people come. We'll play around with times, but I'll be reviewing the show, so y'all get a taste of how I review it leading up to it. And again, if you can think of any content creators who have already been reviewing the show, I would say especially people who know New York City from an historical standpoint, let me know. I would love to do a collaboration with someone like that. And channel size does not matter, none of that. I just want someone who's like into the show. If y'all will email me, my email is in the description box of my videos and the about section of this video. I will see you all in about 15 minutes for the YouTube tips live Q&A for those of you who want to grow a YouTube channel. And then I'll see you at 6:05 p.m. Central Standard Time for our Hot Mess Music Jeopardy fun game show. Come and play. Like you can join me on the panel and play. So thank you all for coming. I will see you all in a little bit. Get brushed up for on season 1 because we're going to have some fun with season 2 on this show, The Gilded Age. I cannot wait. I am so excited. I cannot hide it. I'm about to lose control. No, I'm just kidding. I think I like it. See you later.